we're back. So it's been a few weeks since I've showed up on my podcast, and there's a few reasons for that. I have been a little busy bee, and which is absolutely great. I'm always grateful when I'm busy. And I think before I came on, I had the Home Life and You show coming up. So that's what I was advertising the last few weeks before I've been missing. And yeah, that was second weekend in October, and it was absolutely amazing. And the thing with the Home Life and You show, it's it's my fourth year doing that show, formerly known as the Clean and Tidy Home Show. And this is what came up for me this year. Actually, let me first do my introduction so we can get into the juicy part of the podcast. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the So Flippin' Extra podcast, a platform for me to express, explore and connect and be so flippin' extra. Why, I hear you guys ask? Well, that's what brings me joy. So without further ado, let's get into this episode and let me tell you what's new on the block. So, I had the Home Life and You show. I was hosting the inspiration stage. It was absolutely amazing. And the difference between this year and the last 2 years in particular, when I was hosting the extra stage, is that because I was just hosting the stage, I was there to introduce the speakers that were coming on, the panels that were going to be had, the live podcasts that were happening, and then I was kind of off for the half an hour to 45 minutes, taking questions, going around the crowd, but just keeping the whole essence of that stage just going, like the fun and excitement. I called myself the Home Life and You hype girl, and it meant that I didn't get burnout. I feel like the last 2 years, whereas I was on the extra stage, I was interviewing every single speaker that came to the stage. And so for that 45 minutes I was on, then I might have like a 5-minute break, if that, between that and the next speaker, then I was on again for the whole 2 days. And I feel like this year I got a sense of what it is to be the presenter of the stage or the host of the stage, as opposed to just being a speaker. And I absolutely loved it. So I left that show on Sunday, got home, and I was like, what we're not going to do is go straight into burnout and disappointment, because this is not what I'm doing on Monday. Because I feel like that's what happened. I'd be on such a high from the week. Because although I'm saying, it was different this year because and why it was great, I was also very much aware that I was on a massive come down just from being so high for the weekend. So this year I decided to play it differently. And I feel like it's worked in my favour because I haven't had that major crash that I usually have. And instead of seeing it as a negative that, I feel like I've not failed, but I feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing because I'm not where I want to be and I want to be doing this every single day. I said, right, how do I do this every single day? And I think that's the difference between where my brain has been before to where my brain is now. Because I've always said I want to be a presenter. When I actually started being honest with my wants, needs and dreams and goals, I was like, I want to be a presenter. I want to be a presenter. I want to be a presenter. I want to be a host. I want to be hosting stages. I want to be hosting award shows. I want to be presenting on TV. I finally admitted that this is what I want. Yeah, I have a whole studio full of clothes. I have my alteration clients that come through and I do their alterations. But what I really want is to be a presenter. And I thought, hang on a second, but I keep saying what I want, which means that it's still in the future. If manifestation is correct, which I truly believe it is, I need to stop talking like it's so far in the future, because I've got off stage and I've done it. I want to be a presenter, but hang on a second, I just spent the whole weekend. Is that my client? Hang on a second. Let me see how much I can get out before my client comes. So instead of spending the whole time saying, I want to be this, I want to be this, I want to be this, I've just spent the whole weekend presenting the whole stage, the main stage at that. How about we stop saying that I want to be that and I am that? So even like my friend Narinda said to me, I love the way you're saying you're a presenter and you're the presenter of the main stage. Like that weekend I was like, oh yeah, I'm presenting the main stage. I'm the presenter of the main stage. And even when we were off stage, I'd be saying, I'm a presenter. And I am. It felt like it was, and it felt so normal, and it was beautiful and great to be affirmed by the people around me as well. The people that have seen me over the years and were like, "Wow, you're hosting the main stage now. That's amazing," and just tell me like you belong on stage and it suits you so well and you look so good doing it. Because I'm not gonna lie, and I am one to blow my own trumpet. I know. I truly believe I was born for this. And I absolutely enjoy doing it. And I'm looking forward for this being my now. So what happens now? I'm a presenter, but I've also got to move like a presenter. I've got to get bookings like a presenter. And that's where the how comes in. So again, instead of saying, I want to be this and I don't know how, it's like Monday, Tuesday, I got back to the studio and I was like, right, instead of saying this is what I want and I don't know how and that's why I'm not doing it, instead we're going to go to how do I? Figuring it out, solution based. So obviously I went on old Uncle Chat and was just typed in whatever I needed to type in and have got some kind of something. I made a one pager with a show reel on it that I can send out to brands that are interested in booking me. I have changed my LinkedIn or altered my LinkedIn. So I'm very much still excited and open to do my workshops, be a workshop facilitator. Love doing workshops. Also love doing the speaking, love being on panels as a guest and a guest speaker at events. But now it's also the option that companies can actually hire me and book me as their host and their speaker and their presenter of their show. So yeah, I'm just really, really excited about it. And on top of that, I've also decided to do a mini YouTube series. I say decided, I've started filming, but I haven't done enough. Oh, there's a fly. A series called Becoming a Presenter, which I know is a bit backwards on what I was just saying about, instead of saying I want to be, saying that I am. But the series is, I would want people who maybe feel like how I felt and they're like, how do I do that? They can possibly follow the steps or understand that they're not alone. Oh, Danny wanted to be a presenter, or Danny's on her journey to becoming a presenter. What did she do? And how can I do that too? How can I make it easier for someone else? And so also, last night, as you do when the brain is braining and just, all over the place and the ADHD is ADHDing, I was up early hours of the morning and I thought, there's another step and there's another hiccup in this journey of becoming a presenter. Because what could be easy for a normal person, I know it's not normal, what's the word? No, I'm a neurodivergent. They're a neuronormal. I don't know, I can't remember the word. What's comes easily for one person is harder for someone that's neurodivergent, and there's so many things going on. So I also want to tailor make the content and the information helpful to people that do suffer with ADHD. And how does that look? So even when it comes to speaking on stages and, that whole thing of, I think everyone, I don't know if everyone does have this, but I know as someone with ADHD, just having like my thoughts have gone. Like, it's just, the words went out of my head. Like, even if you guys have been following with the podcast for a while, you'll realize that there's times when I'm literally speaking and I'm like, I forgot what I was going to say. I literally forgot what I was going to say. Everything just went out of my brain. It went out of my mind. And because I just love being so authentic, I'm not stopping and starting the camera to go back and see what I was doing and come back again. Like, we don't work like that. We just roll with it. So all of that information, what does that look like? Just making it work for you and making that part of your personality. Like, I'm not a robot. I'm a real person trying to navigate my way into a new career and thrive amazingly. And anyone else that is, whether they're on this journey of becoming a presenter or they're on their journey of becoming someone else, sometimes the struggle points are actually all the same. So I'm really proud of myself because one of the things I did was look up filler words. So I asked ChatGPT to send me a list of filler words to look out for when I'm speaking and when I'm doing camera work or when I'm doing my content or when I'm on stage. And I've really tried my best during this episode to not use those filler words. And so part of it is like pausing. So instead of saying like, I don't know how many times I said like. I don't even know if I have said like during this episode where I would usually use like. But I feel like I haven't done it that much. So taking a pause instead of using those filler words, instead of saying, taking a pause and thinking about what it is that I have to say next and taking it slow. It's okay if I can't figure out what my next word is, but instead of saying, and, just actually saying, and, la, 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 la. So I'm very proud of myself because when I started the episode, I didn't think, remember the filler words. But as I was talking, I thought, remember the filler words. I don't know if you noticed when I realised because I feel like it was really smooth. So very proud of myself. But it's interesting because I don't know what the next couple weeks or months of content is going to look like. Because as you lot know, I do not plan my episodes. I very much want to bring you on this journey, but I also want becoming a presenter to be separate content to what it is that I talk about on my podcast. And the podcast really is, I explain this to people, although it's called the So Flippin' Extra podcast. Please don't be coming up here. Oh, no, it's not. Although it's called the So Flippin' Extra podcast, it definitely, because of what I do as an upcycler, it definitely makes people think that it is a sewing podcast, and it is not. I would say instead of it being, because it's called the So Flippin' Extra podcast, it's about sewing the ups and downs of life into a flipping amazing extra episode. Hopefully every week, but sometimes we do miss a week because we're human. But yeah, it's just about sowing the seeds of normality, of not normality, because we're not normal around here, honestly. But it just is. It's called the So Flippin' Extra podcast because it started with the So Flippin' Extra live show. And it's really where the dream of me becoming a speaker, becoming a presenter during lockdown was really birthed. And I love the name. And for that reason, it sticks. So yeah. I didn't mean to say I think I'm going to end here. I think it's a good gateway into some newness that's going to be happening. We're still very much talking about, what was we talking about? Delusional. We're still very much talking about delusional confidence around here because it still goes in with my delusional confidence series that this started with. But I think I'm going to be speaking a lot more about ADHD, and anyone who does, no, struggle is not the word, suffer is not the word. Oh, I can't remember. I can't think of the word that I want to use. Anyone who is living life fabulously with ADHD and making it work, however that is, and you would love to speak with me on my podcast, I would love to hear from you. I would love to share your story. I'd love to share your journey. And I'd love us to figure this shit out together. I think my client's here. Mwah. Peace out, A-Town down. West side is the best side. Do I believe that? Not really. But what I do know is wherever I'm at, the vibe's at. The vibe's here every week. If I miss a week, just go back and listen to an episode that you haven't heard. Let's not pretend that I can't miss a week. Because sometimes the times is timing. Love you guys. Bye.